His father, Randy, said Brian was handling the grief as well as could be expected, but it was undoubtedly a difficult time for him. The night he disappeared, Friday, March 31, 2006, was the start of spring break. To kick it off, Brian met up with his friend, William Clint Florence, for a steak dinner and a few drinks. They planned a night of bar hopping. Their first stop was the Ugly Tuna Saloon, a popular bar located on the second floor of the South Campus Gateway complex. They arrived around 9 p.m. Later that night, they met up with another friend, Meredith Reed, who gave them a ride to another bar. The group continued their celebration, having drinks and moving between a few different spots in the Arena District. Just before 1 a.m., the group decided to head back to where they started, the Ugly Tuna. Security cameras captured a crucial moment at 1:15 a.m. Brian is seen on an escalator, riding up to the bar's entrance. He waits for his friends, they chat briefly, and then they all walk inside together. This is the last confirmed image of Brian Shaffer ever taken. He enters the bar, and then, he's gone. Inside the bar, the timeline gets a little fuzzy. Clint and Meredith said they lost track of Brian at some point. They assumed he was just mingling with the crowd, or had gone to the restroom. Around 1:55 a.m., Brian briefly spoke to two young women he knew from school. He was seen on camera talking with them near the entrance. Then he turned and walked back into the main bar area. This was the last time anyone reported seeing him. When the bar prepared to close at 2 a.m., Clint and Meredith waited for Brian outside. They called his phone repeatedly, but it went straight to voicemail. After waiting for a while, they figured he had probably walked back to his apartment nearby without telling them. They left, but Brian never made it home. He wasn't there the next morning. His car was still parked at his apartment. Concern grew over the weekend. Brian was supposed to fly to Miami with his girlfriend, Alexis, on Monday morning. When he didn't show up at the airport, and no one could reach him, the alarm was raised. On Monday, April 3rd, Brian Shaffer was officially reported missing. The Columbus Police Department immediately launched an investigation, and right away, they hit a brick wall. The Ugly Tuna Saloon had only one public entrance and exit. That same escalator Brian rode up was the only way out for customers. Every single person leaving the bar that night would have been captured by the security camera pointed at it. The police reviewed hours and hours of footage. They saw Clint and Meredith leave. They saw the two women Brian spoke to leave. They saw every other patron and staff member leave, but they never saw Brian Shaffer walk out that door. Investigators were baffled. How could he get in but not get out? They explored every possibility. Was there another way out? The building also had a service exit, but it was generally used for freight and led to a construction area. It wasn't an easy or obvious way to leave, and that area was also reportedly monitored by a camera. Even if he did use it, why? And how did he do so without being seen by anyone? The search for Brian was extensive. Police officers, search dogs, and volunteers scoured the area around the bar. They searched dumpsters, sewers, and the nearby Alentangi River. They even brought in the FBI for assistance. His apartment was searched, yielding no clues. His phone records were checked. His last call was to his girlfriend around 9 p.m., before he even went to the bar. His phone pinged a cell tower in Hilliard, about 14 miles northwest of Columbus. Sometime after he vanished, but that single ping didn't lead anywhere concrete. The police interviewed everyone, his friends, his family, the bar staff, and patrons who were there that night. Clint Florence, Brian's friend, initially cooperated but later refused to take a polygraph test and secured a lawyer. This raised some suspicion, but police have publicly stated that they don't believe Clint was involved, and that his actions were likely just a result of being overwhelmed and getting legal advice. No evidence has ever tied him or anyone else directly to Brian's disappearance. Over the years, theories have swirled. The first and most obvious is foul play. Did Brian get into an argument with someone inside the bar? Was he killed, and his body disposed of in a way that bypassed the cameras? This seems incredibly difficult to pull off in a crowded bar with only one main exit. The police did note the construction site nearby. Could his body have been hidden there? The area was thoroughly searched, but it's a grim possibility that's never been fully ruled out. Another theory is that Brian chose to disappear. He was grieving the recent loss of his mother and perhaps feeling the pressure of medical school. Some have speculated that he wanted to start a new life. His father Randy initially thought this might be possible. He spent the rest of his life searching for his son, following up on every lead, no matter how unlikely. Tragically, in 2008, Randy Shaffer died in a freak accident during a storm, never knowing what happened to Brian. Before his death, he had a psychic suggest that Brian's body was in water, which led to renewed searches of the river, but again, nothing was found. Then there are the stranger theories. Some point to a mysterious smiley face symbol that was graffitied near the bar, linking Brian's case to the smiley face killer theory. This theory suggests a gang is responsible for the deaths of numerous young men found drowned across the Midwest. However, most law enforcement officials have dismissed this as a conspiracy theory with little credible evidence. What makes Brian Shaffer's case so haunting is the complete lack of information. There were no signs of a struggle, no ransom notes, no credible sightings of him after he walked back into the main room of the Ugly Tuna Saloon. His bank accounts were never touched. His phone was never turned on again. He simply ceased to exist in the middle of a busy Friday night. The ugly tuna saloon has since closed down. The building has been renovated, but the mystery remains. The digital ghost on that escalator footage is the last trace of a man who had everything to live for. The case is still open, and a significant reward is still offered for any information that leads to finding Brian. His family and friends are left with a void that can never be filled, haunted by the question of what happened in that bar between 1:55 and 2 a.m. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the truth can get lost in the crowd, and a person can disappear in plain sight, leaving behind only questions. Thank you for joining us in the Redacted Room. If you found this case as fascinating and heartbreaking as we do, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into unexplained mysteries. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.